And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It's the 23rd of January 2023. Back to school for most of the learners across the country. So those are some of the stories that we are taking a look at, and also lots of meetings happening all over the country. We continue with our conversation around sport, and this is a big one. For another time, Vipingo Ridge is going to be hosting the Ladies European Tour. This is a golf championship for professional golfers, and it's the opening round of the 2023 season. And to speak about that in studio, you all know him as a rally driver, Alastair Cavenagh, on my far left. Welcome, Alastair.
Thank you.
No one can believe you stopped driving sideways too.
I know. I've had to slow down, and if the viewers could see my foot, you'd see it was in a cast, so I'm really slow at the moment. I've managed to break my foot just before the event, which isn't perfect, but yeah, sadly rallying is over for me now.
I hope you don't speed around on golf carts.
Occasionally.
The Vice Chairman, Kenya Golf Union, Ochola, welcome.
Thank you, Wahome.
And the person who's behind the event and promoting it, Dirk Gliitenberg of UCOM.
Pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
To be here.
Yes, good. You know, the previous times we've had, to do this via Zoom, but this time round, Alastair, let me start with the Vipingo and, how you are getting that course ready for the Magical Kenya Ladies Open.
Well, it's been a challenge, actually, particularly the last 2 years. We've had the worst 2 years of rainfall in the last 70. The year before last being the worst on record. So getting enough water onto the course has been a challenge. We do harvest all the water that we can at Vipingo, so the greens and the tee boxes are in great shape. The course is a little bit drier than we'd like it, but yeah, we have to just be cognizant of the environmental issues that we're facing at the moment.
And, also interesting, you work with another motorsport guy, Salim Haji.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's how the whole project started. It's a long story. I won't bore you with that now, but Salim and I sort of conceived the project back in 2004. And yeah, so Salim's still our golf pro there. He's still one of the directors of Vipingo Ridge, and obviously very much involved in the running and organising of this forthcoming event. All right. Now,
Vice Chairman, let me just talk about this. When the announcement was made, I think November 2019, that's when we had the first event. What was it for the golfing family in Kenya? Because we've had the Magical Kenya Open, moved on to European Tour from a Challenge Tour event. But what about this one? How big was it?
Our home words cannot really explain what it is. It's the third year round. The tournament is growing year in, year out. And we are happy that this tournament has included Kenyan lady golfers who are going to participate. You're aware that Chanel Wangari, the junior golfer, is participating in this. We have Marcy Nyanchama, we have Nancy Wairimu, and we also have our top lady golfer, Naomi Wafula. And just as we were walking in here, we just got another slot from the European Tour organizers, and Akoth Jackie, who also resides in Vipingo, will get an opportunity to participate in this.
Well, great moments for that. And for you, Dirk, coming to promote this event, let's go back to the first event that came, towards the end of the calendar. What was the experience for you?
Look, I mean, Elle and I, we go back a long time. We know each other, and I've been in Kenya for many, many years. It's kind of my second home. And when I saw the golf course that they put up, it was always our wish to bring a professional tournament to Kenya. And obviously, we are involved in men's golf, but we are very involved in women's golf. So we do television production all over the world for the Women's Golf Tour. We promote a tournament in Germany as well. And we always try to bring a tournament here. It took us a while. 2019 we managed for the first time, and now we're going to the third year. Obviously, we had a 2-year break because of COVID, but we're very excited. It's growing. I mean, it's growing, and the enthusiasm is huge. You can see it already, how many people are asking to come to be with us in Vipingo. And Kenya has such a long tradition for men's golf. As you said, Challenge Tour, and then now DP World Tour, and I truly believe that we can create something similar. Women's golf is growing. We are looking at opening the season in Kenya for the second time. We closed it in 2019 in Kenya. Now we're opening the season in Kenya, and it's very exciting. It took us a lot of work, but we have a beautiful golf course. We have an amazing federation to work with. And we want to grow this, and we're very excited to have Kenyan players in the field, obviously. And our goal as a joint goal between UCOM, my company, and Vipingo Ridge and the federation, and the work with Philip, is to bring Kenyan players to the Ladies European Tour, and that's our goal.
Alastair, let me come to you. Preparing this course, number one, and also playing at Vipingo. There's the ocean, there's the breeze, there's all that. Looking at the leaderboards, from day by day last year, it was playing tough. What's the whole setup of that course?
It is a challenging course, and I'm not a good enough golfer really to answer that question properly. Philip would be better placed to do that, but for me it's an extremely challenging course, and I think the players found it that way as well. In fact, we even had to shorten bring some of the tee boxes forward last year, I recall. It is, depending on the time of year and the wind direction, it can be particularly tough. But I think the players will enjoy it. We've got the added advantage of or attraction of wildlife on the course now. I don't know if you saw the pictures of the girls with the giraffe, and those went viral around the world. No, it's a stunning course, and I think the players really enjoy coming out here to Kenya. We obviously need to try and raise the prize money a little bit as we go forward, because we've gone from being one of the sort of middle tier events to now sort of dropping down a bit with the money that's being pumped into golf globally, particularly by Saudi Arabia. So yeah, we hope, as Dirk was saying, to raise the profile of the event in future years.
And also, you are PGA, your course is PGA rated, the Belgian course. Yeah. So the process of getting that certification from the USPGA.
Well, it's UK PGA, but it's all about how the course is built, maintained, but mainly the build and the maintenance is what leads to that accreditation. And the PGA send out officials once a year to just make sure that you're adhering to their standards. We also opened up an academy, a sort of state-of-the-art academy, earlier last year, which is unique in the region, and I think probably one of the only ones in Africa to have that sort of equipment. So, yeah. The affiliation with the PGA is a very important thing for us.
And Dirk, he mentioned something about the prize money. 300,000 euros is a total prize package. How does the LET now work around this to ensure that it's sustainable?
Well, look, I mean, the LET is growing. Obviously, the prize fund is growing as well. We have the 23 season will see the most tournaments, the most hours of television, but also the highest prize fund. So we are obviously trying to close the gap between men's and women's golf. You see the prize money in the Kenya Open will be 2 million, as you know, which is now the minimum prize money on the men's tour. We are now with 300,000 euros at the minimum. It used to be 200,000. Now it has been raised to 300. So obviously our goal is jointly, with everybody on board and the sponsors and everyone who can help to raise the prize fund for Kenya. So that's, the first of all, we could arguably say to close the gap between the men and the women, but that's not only about that. It's to just create an attractive calendar for the professional athletes on the women's side.
Now, Philip, let me come to this, and it's all about fundraising. We've seen the efforts put for the magical Kenya Open, for the DP World Tour. Now tell us about the fundraising for the women's event.
It started on a low note in 2019, but after that the government took ownership of this particular event. In fact, our biggest supporter and money is coming from the government. The corporates, on the other hand, are now plugging in to match what the government is doing so that we can have a higher fund for the prize money, and that increases the quality of players also who come for this event.
Now, already I know I was privy to something. You already met with someone and the support that you received. You could just mention some of those corporates outside of the Sports Arts and Social Development Fund, which is the primary sponsor of the event.
The fact that you're privy to that information makes me now mention of here. Dirk and Alastair are going to meet Safaricom to receive the support that they're going to plug into the event. Last year they were also there. And remember, there's also live communication that is required.
Yes.
And without Safaricom, I don't think life would be easy for Dirk and the screening of the event throughout.
All right. Dirk, let me just come to you because we want to touch on this. The field, talk about 96. The criteria for setting this up. You could take us through that.
Well, look, I mean, obviously, every qualifying criteria, if you look on the Ladies European Tour page or through the app, you see the different criteria of qualification. So it's world ranking, it's Solheim Cup, but it pretty much relates to the last year's final ranking. So the best players of the best 100 players are potentially qualified of the Ladies European Tour ranking, and then you can go down. Some of them will not participate. They are traveling. They're still having a break. But we have a very, very strong player field. We have, I would say, out of the last year's ranking, we have 7 or 8 of the top 20, which is a very, very good result. Obviously, with Esther Henseleit, you know, the defending champion, coming back. We're very happy that she is coming back, but we have Aditya Shot from India, we have Sanna Nutinen from Finland, you know, we have Manon de Rey from Belgium. We have really, really strong players. And as Alastair said, it's a challenging golf course, specifically when it's dry. So the ball doesn't always bounce the way you want it to. So you have to be very accurate. And that's why, you know, it's a tough job, but the top players will go through, and I really hope that you know, we see 1 or 2 Kenyan players making the cut on Friday.
Okay, now let me talk about, you know, golf and the agronomy. For example, for the DP World Tour, I think when it moved to Muthaiga last year, the members got a little bit of a shock because there is a standard that is required by the from the two organizers. How much work do you have to do? What slight changes do you have to do that any person who plays at Vipingo would find different?
Well, it's a year-long sort of process, and what we did during COVID was actually change our greens. So we put a better, faster grass in that can be cut to a shorter, much shorter level, and gives a faster stint speed. The LET send out their agronomist once or twice a year prior to the event to check that things are being managed on the course as they would like to see them. As I said, we have had problems and challenges with the amount of waterfall or rainfall that we've had over the last 2 years. So the course is looking a bit drier than we would like it, but you know, hopefully in years to come that will not be the case, and we'll be able to present the course in a much sort of greener, softer condition. But we can only put as much water on as we have available, and we've got to be very conscious of that.
All right. So far, by the standards, I mean, by what's expected of Dirk and his team, you're happy with the current conditions?
We are. As I said, it'd be nice if it was a little bit greener, but you know, our team at Vipingo have done a fantastic job. Salim's in charge of that. We've got a very competent greenkeeper, Kennedy, and the 2 years that we've hosted the event thus far, the organisers, the LET, have been very happy with the presentation of the course. So.
Now, let me come to you, Vice Chairman, because we saw something that's happening, that the Kenya Golf Union, the Kenya Ladies Golf Union working together, such that the quality of lady golfers that we have in the country is great. It's been agreed that some of these women can actually play in the KAGC, and we've also seen them play in the Safari Tour. How was this arrangement arrived at?
The world is moving, the Royal and Ancient is moving golf to a unified setup, so whereby the ladies and the men compete in the same tournament. Including one of the tours, we had ladies and men playing in the same event. Yes. So for us, we always...
Actually, the Royal and Ancient is, in simple terms,
the governing body of golf.
The governing body across the world for golf is RNA, the Royal and Ancient.
Yes. So over the last weekend, we gave this a try. And we had 8 ladies participating in this. And obviously we had the 4.
This is at the Sigona Bowl.
At the Sigona Bowl, where we had 4 of the team that will participate in the Ladies European Tour, participating in it. And this will go forward for the rest of the year, as we make sure that all the ladies are excited to be part of the high level of golf that the men are playing. And as you're aware that the government is insisting now on the Kenya Academy of Sports, where the elite players are developed to be the best in whichever sport they are in, and we want to take advantage of that.
And there's the inclusion of junior golfers. Chanel is, I think, 16 range, and the story is she's been around the sport, I think, since she was 7 or 8 and playing at the highest level. What's being done, you know, to bring them to blood these young lady golfers through the junior ranks with the JGF, because we've also seen a lot of that happening, especially with the US kids golf.
Thanks for mentioning that. That's now the current front of golf in Kenya, but also across the world. And even all those who are participating in this event are coming from the junior golf ranks, right? And as a federation, as a union, we've taken this very seriously. We had to look at what program can move us from the normal day-to-day running of golf. And 2 years ago, we ended up with US Kids Golf as a program that can take us to the next level. As I said earlier on, that ship has sailed. There's no bolting back. That is the same program that we are using. We're working with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development to now develop a curriculum that now will go to schools. Why? This is a sport that can be played on a football pitch. There's a drawing. You can do 9 holes on a football pitch. And with the current narrative of the government, we have to start where the lowest is.
Yes.
So long as there's a football pitch, that's a golf course. So at the time that we are going to release the Kenya curriculum of golf, that's where we will start.
Very interesting, because I know there is one famous golf course. It's known as St. Andrews. It's known as, that's a very golf course. At times you find people playing, football at that point, and also, but there are the friends there. So that's possible because we've seen it before. And
for your information on that, the winner of the Sigona Bowl is the captain of St. Andrews, Nduberi. Yes.
Yeah, great stuff. Yes, and you can see St. Andrews all doing that. Alastair, you mentioned about the academy out there.
Yeah.
And
well, I was just going to add on to what Philip was saying there. We have this very high-tech PGA academy. It's underutilized at the moment because we're a little bit quiet at Vipingo compared to Nairobi, and we've said to the Junior Golf Federation as well as the KGF, we are fully supportive and will throw our weight behind trying to develop these young golfers and make the academy available to them as well as the course throughout the year, so that we can really try and get players coming through, making the cut, and eventually, as Dirk said, getting somebody or a couple of the players onto the tour permanently. That's our ambition over the next couple of years.
Well, we'll need to see that. And Dirk, we start here, but we're seeing a lot of more events coming to the African continent. So you could basically give us, a brief of the 2023 season. 32 events, basically. That's one every 1.5 weeks, so to speak.
It's interesting because we are actually creating together with the Ladies European Tour, an African swing, which means that from when we start in Kenya, from here the players go to Morocco, then from Morocco they go via Saudi back to South Africa. So and for next year it looks like we might add a couple of more tournaments. So we have a clear request from Rwanda. There's a couple of new golf courses coming up. Obviously it's growing, and South Africa has always been quite dominant in golf, but now Kenya has an event, Morocco has an event, Egypt are looking into an event, Rwanda are looking at an event. So we really, together with the RNA, actually we have spoken to the head of development of the RNA, who seems to be very open towards Africa. They really want to develop Africa, and that's why we are as UCOM we are pushing into that direction. And that's why if you talk about the season, so we have last year already invited Naomi Wafula to come and play in our tournament in Germany, and she only missed the cut by 2 shots. Ever since, she has improved amazingly. So we have created already a calendar for Naomi to be the first Kenyan player to play abroad for this coming summer. So she's going to play in our event, but we have already arranged more starts for her and hopefully also for the other players that come from the Kenyan squad. Well,
good revelation coming in from Naomi. Which event should we be looking at? Because we know, for example, for the male the male golf pros, we know they've done a lot in South Africa. Some are playing in the sun. We've seen them play in the Sunshine Tour. Others get invited to some events in the West African Tour. What's her calendar like?
So we have 3 starts for Naomi on the Ladies European Tour. So it's going to be here in Kenya, then it's going to be in Berlin in Germany, which is also a UCOM tournament, and when we either have a stop for her in Finland or in Holland, maybe both. Together with that, there is the Access Tour, which is pretty much the Challenge Tour, the equivalent of the Challenge Tour by the men, and we are going to guarantee her 3 or 4 starts in other tournaments, so that once she travels to Europe, she will be with us. We will support her when she's in Europe, and then she will be trying to create a nice calendar for her throughout the summer. So once the rainy season hits here, May, she will come over, and then we hopefully will have Naomi with us for at least 2 or 3 months. So we'll be in touch, and because we have television pictures from her as well, we'll be able to send some to you. We'll also have interviews for the Kenyan television. So I think this is only the start, and we will carry it further forward.
Well, there's always space for any excelling sports person on KBC Channel 1. Alastair can tell you the tales from his motorsport days, and now in golf. And taking a look at that, we know with the kind of opportunities that have come for Naomi, out there for the federation, what pathways is it creating such that there's more competition, more tournaments, and we get the excellent golfers?
We are no longer thinking within ourselves. We've gone out of the box. For junior events, we already have 30 that are lined up for this year. For the Kenya Amateur Golf Championship, we have 26. Right? The ladies also have a calendar that has been released.
Yes.
So it's back to back for any athlete that is out there to play golf. In terms of the national teams, we've already engaged John Leafland, the national coach, who's now putting up a program. Not only will it be for men, but also for the ladies. We want to appreciate what work it's being done at the academy with Salim. And instead of charging what he should get commercially, he's actually done a lot of it for free. The participants are going to Vipingo on the 24th, and they'll all be under the hands of Salim Haji to prepare them for the event that starts on the 2nd.
Okay. And Alastair, when somebody comes, Kenyans, when it comes to sports, they'll not just come there and, watch the golf and walk. They have to make some noise. What's there for, to catch everyone at Vipingo and as the giraffes on the course?
Well, it's anyone who's been there, I think, will know it's really quite a unique destination, Vipingo. We've obviously got the beach, we've got a beach club, we've got quite a lot of other activities available on site, but it's just from a golfing perspective, I think, and Dirk will bear me out here, we've probably got one of the nicest sort of VIP lounge areas where you look down on the 9th and the 18th greens. Following the players round is a really unique experience in itself. And we just hope, obviously last year we were still under COVID protocols, so we couldn't encourage spectators sort of too overtly. However, this year we really would encourage as many people to come down and watch the event and participate and just join in the fun as possible.
And something is that if I come, I'll pay 500 shillings per day. That would be the ticket price.
I think for students, we're going to do 50 bob a day.
50?
You just produce your student card and that's it. So it'll be...
And a collaboration, about the membership. If I go there with my member's card, what happens?
Again, Dirk can answer this. I think it's free for members.
Yeah, it's free. It's free for all members of the clubs in the country. So whenever you have a membership card, we want to entertain also all juniors. So we are working with the junior teams from the coastal clubs, but also Philip is liaising with all the clubs up country. So we really want to bring as many spectators, but also juniors. So all the juniors that are active in golf within Kenya, the entrance is free of charge, and everybody who is a member of a club in Kenya is also is free of charge. We have obviously another big partner, which is EABL, and they're setting up a tent. There's going to be entertainment. There's going to be DJs. So if you don't want to watch golf, you're still not going to be bored. There's going to be a lot of things to be done. But we saw already increasing numbers last year, and it looked quite busy on the Sunday. So we really hope that also people from the universities in Kilifi and in Mombasa that will come. So we're doing a promotion there. So it's not, you don't need to be a golfer to enjoy golf.
Okay. Now, building up on this events that we've got at the highest level, we've got the Magical Kenya Open, the Magical Kenya Ladies Open. What's out there? What are the opportunities coming through for Kenya as a golf destination?
Remember the word magical. The Ministry of Tourism is using this sport to market Kenya.
Yes.
This event will be covered to 130 countries. What will they showcase? What's at Vipingo? Remember, Vipingo now has animals.
Yes.
They won't be put in the dock when the players are playing. And those are unique features that we have in Kenya. A number of captions have been taken of what happens in Kenya. So the tourism perspective is very important, and that's the ROI that the government gets by sponsoring this event. Same by sponsoring the magical Kenya Open, that's the equivalent. But remember, when these players come to a country, they come with their managers, they come with their coaches, they come with their family. The multiplying effect is ×5. You have 98 players participating, multiply that by 5, think of the currency that gets into their country. The same with Magical Kenya Open. And that's one of the reasons why the Cabinet Secretary of Sports mentioned that as much as we're developing talent, let's take each sport as a business. Right? And when that money comes into Kenya, it remains there. It builds our people. He may tell you how many people will be involved in running the event. They're all local people.
About how many people, Alastair?
Well, they're not all local, Phil. Some of the team, we're probably about 150 all in terms of running the event, which is big. And just to add on to what your question, I think we need to, as a country, start marketing golf tourism and golf safaris, and it's something I think we've been a bit remiss on recently. And I think there's a huge market out there that just doesn't know that Kenya has leading golf courses. And we combine that with the safari, and you've got the full package.
Well, quite interesting, because I know in Kenya is a country where you can play golf at sea level and also at 3,000 meters above sea level.
Correct.
It's quite interesting. Yeah, that's Nyahururu for you. Bingo. So you can imagine the contrast in playing at all those different places. And Dirk, what's been the impact for you, a person who puts this out, promotes the event, putting it out on television? What's been the story from the golfers on the tour and the people who watch golf?
I must say, it's always been my personal relationship. I mean, my first time in Kenya was 1981, and my father was already here in 1972, teaching Kenyans how to fly glider planes in Nakuru. So I have a lot of history in Kenya. But when we mentioned Kenya to the Ladies European Tour, they didn't really think that, apart from the courses in Nairobi, that there was another course. So we pushed, and I kept saying, you have to come to Kenya to experience Kenya. And all the players that came, they all left with a big smile, and they're all coming back. And they're bringing, you see, from 2019 to now, they're all bringing friends and family. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because all the planes to Mombasa will be full next week. All of them. We have pretty much filled all accommodation and around us and also on the coast. So I think the impact is, it's just growing. And the difference between the ladies and the men, the social media aspect of the ladies is ×10. So, we are bringing some international influencers. We have the best influencers of Kenya teaming up with some international influencers, golf influencers, travel influencers. So we're carrying the word out there. And that's I think, the key factor is, to bring the people in touch with Kenyans. I think Kenya is a beautiful country, but it's very beautiful because of its people. And that's for them the key, because everybody will say the same from the player perspective.
All right. Alastair, he says all hotels are booked, so if anyone wants to come to Vipingo around that time,
it's a struggle. It's a struggle. There are a few things, but unfortunately Vipingo Ridge was full before Christmas, with the players, the organisers, the caddies, key sponsors, etc. But there is accommodation around us, but it's filling up rapidly. So I'd encourage anyone coming down to look into it quickly before they end up having to stay in Mombasa and travel up.
All right. For the union, activities around this minus the tournament itself, what is it that you want to reach out to the public, outside of those who are already within the golfing family?
Going back to what I said, it's all about junior golf. These ladies are ambassadors for now. How did they start? They started through junior golf. Junior golf, you can be a member. There's a card that you're given. We only need your passport and your birth certificate or passport, yeah? Then you get a card, right?
Yes.
It allows you to go to each and every golf course within this country. That is where we will go in and develop golf in this country. So out of that, we want to continue partnering with the Ministry of Tourism and of course our main line, which is Ministry of Sports.
Dirk, a word out to the people out there and how to keep up with this tour. Especially now for Naomi, because I think she's got, what, 7-8 events already.
Well, look, I mean, I can only say that whoever comes and watches the tournament either on television or live, you know, they will get a very good impression of what it is all about, and especially when it comes down to Sunday, we expect the final putt to go in unless we have a playoff at around 4:30, 5 o'clock local time. But you know, it's we will see not only we don't see the magical Kenya Ladies Open as one umbrella event in 1 week a year. We want to communicate and play women's golf for and from Kenya throughout the year, and that we can only achieve if you know we hear from Kenyan players playing abroad, like you do with all your other sports, where you go abroad and challenge the international competition. And this is what our aim is. This is one of the key elements that we're trying to seed. We have seeded it together with the Federation and Vipingo Ridge, and obviously without the Ministry of Sport it wouldn't be possible. So we are on a good track.
Oh, by the way, making cut for day 3 and 4. What's the cut? About how many would you be looking at?
Well, we halve the field, so you can't say you cut it directly in half because it depends on the scores.
Yes.
But we would imagine that 55 to 60 players will go into the weekend.
Aha. Well, Alastair, you're the host. Make that call now as we wind up.
Well, as I said, I would just like to encourage everyone to come down, enjoy the weekend. It really is a lot of fun. As I think Dirk has said, if you're not a golfer, there's plenty of things to do. There's a fantastic village set up with EABL and having their main tent there. And it's just a really good, fun weekend out. We've got direct flights into Vipingo. So, yeah, please get onto your travel agent and book up.
Okay, we shall make sure we do that, and remember, we shall be keeping up with the 5 Kenyan ladies who will be at the magical Kenya Ladies Open, taking place at Vipingo Ridge from the 2nd to the 5th of February, with the Pro-Am on the 1st of February. So it's going to be a huge sporting weekend down at the coast for Kenyan golf. Thank you very much, Alastair Cavenagh. You know him as a rally driver. Well, right now he is driving golf carts, and he's the chairman of Vipingo Ridge. Philip Ochola, vice chairman, Kenya Golf Union, and the promoter of the event, Dirk Gliitenberg. I hope I got that right.
You got it right, perfect.
From UCOM. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
In a couple of weeks, let's find out if that title is going to stay. By the way, what's the trophy this year? Which animal are you using?
It's the same. We've got a revolving trophy, which is a fantastic bronze of a giraffe. The event emblem is a giraffe. And that we've got some miniatures as well that the winners will take home with them. But the main one stays with us at Vipingo.
So, Esther Henselett, can she retain that title? And let's see how well that course plays. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. It's a Bena Morning Sports Check. We've spoken Taekwondo, we've spoken golf. It's now time for me to leave. And coming up next is Tamrini, and it's going to be preceded by Kurunzi Mashinani. Have a good afternoon. My name is Daniel Wahome.